Hello friends, myself Dr. Awadhesh Kumar Dubey from Kamla Nehru Physical and Social Sciences, Sultanpur. Students, welcome our economics channels, e-Pathshala. Students, on this lecture, we are going to discuss about the opportunity cost. Before this lecture, we are discussing about the scarcity or problem of choice, central problem of the choice, given by the Professor Robbins. This lecture was made for especially for BA first semester students in new education policy. Students, before this policy, the education for the BA students are year based, and they are a detailed study of microeconomics and the Indian economy. But after the amendment of this education policy, some new topics are, some new points are being introduced in this semester system. So, as per the demand of the students, we just make a new series of lectures for the students of BA Part 1 first semester. On this process, this is the second lecture. And the topic is opportunity cost. Before studying this lecture, you must know about the scarcity theory or the theory given by the Professor Robbins. As on the earlier lecture, we are discussed about the Robbins and their theory of scarcity and the problem of choice. That theory is saying that if a producer wants to produce some commodities, they have a limited resources, like limited capitals, but they want to produce much and more. At the same time, they have options to produce more commodities, more kind of commodities, but due to limitations of the resources, due to limitation availability of the capital, they are not to be able to produce all things. So in this case, in this situations, they select one of them. My students, this is another examples for this circumstances. If our producers have a few amount of the incomes and they wanted to do the production, they have to do various kind of the production. But only one of them, not all kind of the productions they are able to produce. So having various choices, having various opportunity, choices means having various opportunity, the entrepreneur, the producers are selected a few product, a few resource and a few options for the production. So in these cases, it is what they actually attempt, what options they actually attempt. This is the theory of opportunity cost. This is the concept of opportunity cost theory, and this was we discussed in this lecture. So now let's start our lectures about the opportunity cost theory. What were the given by the Professor J.S. Mills, John Stuart Mills in their analysis and their description. So now the students we are going to discuss, we are starting the theory that is name is opportunity cost. Opportunity means the options, the availability of the options and selections one of them. Opportunity means the option. Students, as our discussion, the means of the production in any economy are limited, as the Professor Robbins have to say on their definition. Although they do have alternative uses, each and every resources, each and every means have alternative uses. Due to these limited resources and alternative uses, the producers have to choose that to increase the productions of one commodity, he should decide to sacrifice another commodity. They are not to be able to choose one without sacrificing another big option. So while the having options of two commodities productions, one is if the attained by the producer, it means automatically they are substituting, they are sacrificing the another one. Talking about the field of the production, where it is an ordinary farmer, a farms and industry or a government for every unit of the production. Either they are farmer, or they are farm, they are industry, or they are government. Each kind of the production units have a choice, have a options for their production. All of these are extremely important to consider the opportunity cost while taking any decision. When a producer uses a particular resources for the productions of a particular commodity, he give up the productions of another commodity. Every time when they are selecting one opportunity, it means it was sacrificing another one. Then the students, the main reason for this in that he cannot produce both the goods at the same time for the particular resources. Thus, the sacrifice of the opportunity for alternative uses of a particular resources is called opportunity cost in economics. This theory was first explained by the J.S. Mill. That is, from of economy point of view, the opportunity cost of an additional quantity of one good is the amount of the other commodities that is discarded. If one option is selected, then other one will be sacrifices, other one be discarded. Further, the students, in fact, the idea of the opportunity cost is based on the problem of the choice arising from the limitations of the resources, need and utilizations of, or ultimately for which the means of the satisfactions are limited. That is why most of the fields have an alternative usage. Either they are belonging to the one production or to the another production. Selections for that alternative usage, we have to explore examples as in the given page. Suppose there is a driver who have to knowledge about the driving. They are able to best drive, but they can drive a taxi, tractor, jeep, bus, truck, even bulldozer. But you can't appointed him for all these tasks at the same time. Never be they are sufficient, they are able to drive taxi, car, tractor, jeep, bus, every article in the same time. So that is, if he is appointed to drive a jeep, he must definitely give up the opportunity to drive the bus and other options or other possibilities. That is, give up the opportunity to drive the bus will be called the opportunity cost for him to drive the jeep, because his resources are limited, his times are limited, his efficiency are limited. Therefore, a person, if he want to get the things, he has to give up the objects, another objects. That is, to satisfy one needs, the satisfaction of the another needs have to be abundant. So this was the examples of the opportunity cost. This was the easiest example of the opportunity cost. Now, the statement made by the Professor Cole, as per the defining the opportunity cost, according to Professor Cole, the value of the renouncing an options opportunity by choosing an action in the options cost or opportunity cost of a particular task. Having options, the option is selected by the one person in place of another resources. It was called as the opportunity cost in the word of Professor Cole. Now, the students, what the production possibilities curve interpretation. Without interpreting the PPC curve, the declaration of the opportunity cost is not very easy to understand. So now in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the opportunity cost by the interpretation of the PPC curve. The concept of the opportunity cost can be understood more simply with the help of the production possibilities curve. So here is the reference of the PPC curve for the detailing of opportunity cost. The whole concept of the opportunity cost can be well understood as follows, but before understanding it with what is the production possibilities curve, it is necessary to know this concept PPC curve. and another lectures we are discussing about it, but in short, here the PPC curve. PPC curve means, students, the country which have fertile land, mineral wealth, minerals, wealth, skilled labor, technology, and sufficient amount of the capital are available. Such countries have immense potential to produce large quantity of the goods and services. What they want, they can do. But things about those countries where the quantity of the above mentioned resources are less or limited, the possibilities of the production good is those countries are negligible. But such countries produce goods and services using different combinations ratio of these limited resources. In such a situation, if a country have to produce more quantity of the consumption goods, then it will have to give up or reduce the production of the other capital goods. If they are selecting one resources, if they are attempting one resources, it means they are substituting, they are sacrificing another one. Similarly, if he has to produce large quantity of the capital goods or luxurious goods, he will have to give up or reduce the production of basic essential goods. So they have to preference to have to change, have to choose either capital productions or the essential good. So the preferences, if they want to do productions, they can attempt one of them, either productions of luxurious or goods-based commodities or the production of the essential goods. They are able to do any kind of the product, but not twicely, not all products in the same time. So the preference, the production possibilities come explaining the concept, what articles are being produced by having the limits of that. Now it was discussed as the assumptions, what the assumptions of this production possibilities are. Before explaining the concept of the opportunity cost with the help of diagram, the following assumptions are considered as the basis of the PPC curve. First, the quantity of factors of production is assumed to be fixed in a given period of the time. The quantity of the production resources are not to be increased or decreased. The resources, available resources are fixed at the given time. In a given economy, there are only two goods which are being used for the production, that is the labor and the capital. Although for the production there are a long list of the resources and economists have to divide it in the 5 groups, but as per the diagrammatic declaration, grammatical point of view, it will be characterized by only 2 types. In a given economy, conditions of perfect employment and perfect competitions are assumed to be created. It means the all factors are engaged on the production, they are equal in shape and size, and they are performing their best efforts. They are not to be unemployed, or they are not to be discriminated by the color wise, capacity wise, quantity wise, all we can say. So the third assumption is that the all commodities are homogeneous or equal in the shape and size, or as we can say, it's a perfect employment and a perfect competition system. So quantity and variety of the means of the productions available in the economy are constant. As the quantity of the means of the productions increases, their quality improves. As a result, the probability curve shifted to the right curves. That is, both of the goods can be produced from the new production possibilities curve. If the amount of the products are being increases, then automatically the possibilities for the production is rising. In another way, in the vice versa, we can say, if the amount of the products are being decreases, then the production is PPC curve is downward shifted, and if the amount of the production is increases, then it will shifted to the upward direction. Fourth one, the level of the technological knowledge is applied throughout the economy is constant, is not to be changed. whether the technology will be changed, it means the production is increasing. So it is mentioning that during the assessment of the product PPC curve, the techniques was not to be changed. But for the shifting purpose, with the increasing in the level of the technology, for shifting purpose, the production's possibilities have shifted to upward direction or right direction. That is with the help of the new possibilities curve, more production of the goods can be done. And lastly, the students, care in taken that the means of the production are used with the full efficiency. Each and every resources are being performed their best, not to be less. So these are the assumptions of the PPC curve. Uh, and now, students, for detailing the schedule of the PPC curve, that the country will have to alternative uses in the resources of the production different goods. Similarly, attractive combinations can be clearly represented in the production possibilities curve, and that the schedule that will be defined by the schedule as follows. The schedule of the PPC curve is the steps is shown in the diagram. Entrepreneurs have a limited resources, and they all resources are to be expensed for the production. And choices, the availability, the possibilities are available. First choices, first possibilities, either they have to produce the 50 units of the X commodity, or they produce, while this, they are not to be able to produce any kind of production for Y goods. If they are decreasing 10 amounts of the X commodities, they are able to produce 5 units of the Y commodity. Another way, if they are decreasing 20 units, it means 40 to 30, and next 10 units of the X commodities, they are able to produce 10 commodities of the Y commodity. It means while the decreasing the 10 units of the X commodities, the Y commodities are being increased by the 5 units. Nextly, 30 to 20. Further, the 5 amount of Y commodities are increased. Here it is for 20 to 10. Further, the Y commodities 15 to 20. And lastly, if the all resources are being engaged for the production of the Y commodities, then the producers are able to attain the 25 units of the Y commodities, but they are not to be able to do any kind of the production of X commodities. So here we are seeing the students, the options A, B, C, D, E, F, they are the 6 options available to the farmers, to the producers, to the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur are not to be able to attain more than one. Either they are selected A or B or C or D or E or F. One of them, not more than one option. Either A or B or C, any one of them. Students, it will be discussed at the exam point of view as follows. In this table, we can see how a country can produce goods in the different combinations. In these various combinations, the production of some goods increases, while the production of the some goods decreases or sacrificing. In the above, the table 6 combinations of productions of the goods X and Y are given. Under any of these various combinations, a country can produce the combination as per the required. Either they select A, B, C, D, or E, or F. Students, further, the schedules are be defined. The schedules are be elaborated as the given way. The schedule are the same what we are discussing on the previous slides. So in this schedule, students, we can see if the entrepreneur produces twice a combination, then he will produce 50 units of the article X commodities and 0 units of the article Y commodities, as earlier we have discussed. Similarly, if he chooses the last F of combinations, then X would like to be produce 0 units of the commodities, and Y commodities are 25 units and 25 units of the Y commodity. Both these extremes of the production possibilities are called combinations. That is country productions different quantity of the X commodities and Y commodities between the combinations. A and F, by the way, the status of the choice of a particular combinations out of these different combinations are dependent on the conditions of demand. With the help of production possibilities table, we can see the diagrammatical representation of these combinations on the production possibilities curve as follows. And now the curves are being defined as the help of the PPC curve. Here it is the production possibilities curves we are going to discuss, and it is the help of by the help of PPC curve, amount of the exports and the amount of the Y. Students, in this example, especially some changes are required. Where is the X commodities? It is shown in the diagram with the help of Y commodities, and same it is for the X commodities is seen in the diagram with the X commodities. Now see the students, the diagram. It was the lines where we see Y angles and X angle. On the OY angles, we are showing the Y commodities, and on the OX angle, we are showing the X commodities. Now, the students, it is a measure. If these changes are initiated by you, then the 50 units of the Y commodities is the stop commodities, and the parameter is 0 to 50. And another side, we are discussed the 0 to 5, 10, 15, 20 as the given the diagram. And this is the PPC curve. This is the combinations what the A, B, C, D, E, F are mentioned here. A, B, C, D, E, F. The first combinations where the Y commodities amount is 20, but X commodities amount is 0. Another combination where the Y commodities is amounted 40, the X commodities amount is 5, as shown in the diagram. Another where the X commodities is 10, Y commodities is 30 by seeing it to see options for the 20 amount of the Y commodities and 15 amount of the X commodities, for the 10 amounts of the Y commodities and the 20 amounts of the X commodities, and lastly the 0 amount of the Y commodities and 25 amounts of the X commodities. So this was the PPC curve. The entrepreneur are not to be able to select all of them. They are only to be able to select one of them, either A, B, C, D, E, or F. So this was the observation. This was the given details of the PPC curve. So students, while observing it, we can say that PPC curve says the possibilities of the production, and possibilities means the opportunity. Entrepreneurs have the opportunity but selected one of them. The following points are be clear from the above PPC curve or production possibilities curve. Students, in the figure, OX baselines shows the quality of the quantity of the Y commodities, and OY line shows the quantity of the X commodities. Now, when F is the production possibilities curve, the A, B, C, D, E, F on this curves are the point which shows how many quantity of the goods X and Y can be produced by any country using the limited resources efficiency what they have to available. Further, the students, if a country put all the resources into the production of the X commodities, it will produce OA quantity of the Y commodities, X commodities, and similarly on that situation, the quantity of the Y commodities will be 0. If they are producing all amounts of the resources for the production of the X commodities, then the largest number of the X commodities are being taken or be produced, but they are not to be able to produce any kind of the X commodities. Similarly, for the Y commodities, particularly if the country uses all the limited resources on the production of the Y commodities or Y goods, then it will be produced OF quantity of the Y commodities, while output quantity of the X goods are be 0. A country can produce X and Y goods under the AF productions possibilities curves by choosing some other combinations such as the B, C, D, or F, or E, what we can say, having these options, they can be select one and where they are able to produce both amounts of the commodities in a limited order. Now, the students, on the basis of the above points related to the production possibilities curve, we can say in the nutshell that the production possibilities curve in the extent to which a country can produce different combinations of the both goods X or Y by using its resources. Even if you want to do more than one option, they cannot be produced any quantity of the X and Y commodities at any point outside the curve like K. Besides this PPC curve, they are not to be able to do the production because they are beyond their limit. Because that point is beyond the limit of the amounts of available resources and technology available in the country. So this was not to be attainable with what of the produced. So thank you, student, for this lecture. I hope by this lecture you are able to understand what the opportunity cost is, what the PPC curve says. By using the PPC curve and by using the opportunity cost, how can a producer are selected one of the resource, one of the factors, one of the choices by whom they are able to do the production. While the production, the same challenges are faced by the producers what we are facing during the consumption. We have a limited income, and having a limited income, when we are going to purchase some commodities from the market, on the limited amounts, we have various options. Either we select A, B, C. As an example, we have a 50 rupees and we want to go to get the breakfast. We have options to purchase bread and butter, or slice and tea, or having samosa. So these are the combinations, but we cannot be able to purchase all of these. We are able to purchase one of them. In the same way, opportunity cost, saying that when we are selecting one resource, then other one will be sacrificed. The rate of the sacrification is known as the opportunity cost. So this is the introductions of opportunity cost difference. On the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the limitation and the formula of the observing opportunity cost. So thank you for this lecture, students. If you are newly joined this lecture group, this channel, so just subscribe it and suggest it to your all other friends about the subscription of this channel. Thanking you. Thanks a lot.